physically eliminate, shoot, kill someone who he believes to be a threat to him.
What?
I mean, so I know this sounds bizarre. It sounds like if I said this 5 years ago, you'd lock me up. We got to lock him up.
Whoa. Uh-oh.
Politically lock him up.
Politically lock him up. He knew he slipped up right there. He knew he can't say that. Joe Biden is now calling for Donald Trump to be locked up. I'm impressed that he's able to at least string those sentences together. But we're going to break down just how deep this rhetoric is in the Democrat Party right now, and also how contradicting it is that they try to claim to Trump that Trump is going to lock his opponents up when he's in office, when literally they've been doing that the past couple years. It's itsSeanDaniel here. If you guys enjoy the videos, consider subscribing or liking or commenting down below. And let's see what Joe Biden had to say in his last few days of president. You know, he's got, how much longer he's got? Right now is middle October. So he's got 3 months left. He's trying to make as much as he can out of it. Let's see what he's got to say.
This is not a joke. This is a guy who also wants to replace every civil servant, every single one. Thinks he has a right under the Supreme Court ruling on immunity to be able, if need be, if it was the case, to actually eliminate, physically eliminate, shoot, kill someone who he believes to be a threat to him.
What?
I mean, so I know this sounds bizarre. It sounds like if I said this 5 years ago, you'd lock me up. We got to lock him up.
Whoa. Uh-oh.
Politically lock him up.
Politically lock him up. He knew he slipped up right there. He knew he can't say that. But that's really what they wanted to do. And it's been totally evident with all of the things that they've done to Trump the past few years. But it's, before we get into breaking down all of those, it's not just Biden who says that Trump wants to lock everyone up and persecute his political enemies. It's widespread throughout the Democrat Party.
Understand, this is someone who has openly said he would terminate, I'm quoting, terminate the Constitution of the United States.
Oh
that he
God.
would weaponize the Department of Justice against his political enemies. Someone who has openly expressed disdain for members of our military. Understand what it would mean if Donald Trump were back in the White House with no guardrails. And as we know, he intends to use it to attack his political enemies. People are very concerned.
See, it's widespread. She says it all the time. And so does Letitia James, the lady who literally prosecuted Donald Trump because he was a political enemy against Joe Biden, to try to hang him up in the courts so he could not campaign and he could have these big penalties. Watch how she even openly, watch.
Worried Donald Trump's going to weaponize the justice system if he gets in power?
I'm concerned about Project 2025.
Yeah.
And it's important that individuals understand that Project 2025 basically consolidates power in the hands of one dangerous man.
Yeah.
And so it's really critically
Start
important
prosecuting his political enemies.
Exactly.
He was trolling people in the DNC, but look, even her, they just keep promoting this thing, when in fact it was literally Letitia James back here she is, prosecuting Trump while he's in court for this civil fraud trial, where this smug-ass judge that we're going to see right here in just a second, there's Letitia James, the one who's saying, oh, Trump's going to prosecute his political enemies. She was in charge of prosecuting Trump because he was a political enemy of Joe Biden, and to get huge penalties on him, so he was hamstrung, so he couldn't go around and campaign. It's whatever they accuse you of is what they are. Here's the smug judge, watch. Literally going after Trump for literally nothing, watch. And he smiles for the camera. What a douchebag. But just like every person that you guys know that's super manipulative, that's selfish, that's attacking, usually, like we know in life, if they're like that, whatever they accuse you of most of the time is actually what they are. They try to get you off your back, and that's one of the lies being spread that most people see through, thank God. Now let's look at all the different ways that the left have, in the past, not only gone after Trump, but tried to incite violence against him, the different attacks they've made. Let's watch this supercut to remind ourselves of what's really going on.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
People need to start taking to the streets. This is a dictator.
You know, there needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
Enemies of the state.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
Do something about your dad's immigration practices, you feckless.
When they go low, we kick.
How do you resist the temptation to run up and wring her neck?
The biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized right up to the right.
I thought he should have punched him in the face. I said, even if you lost, he insulted your wife.
Yes.
He came down the escalator and called Mexicans rapists and murderers. He said, well, what do you think I should have done? I said, I think you should have punched him in the face and then gotten out of the race. You would have been a hero.
Jesus.
I'd like to punch him in the face. I said if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
Punch some people in the face.
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump, and that's a fact.
Wow.
Look, as his character is stabbed to death.
Where is John Wilkes Booth when you need him?
Look at this. Isn't that crazy?
I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
A Missouri state senator is under investigation by the Secret Service after saying she hopes President Trump is assassinated.
I will go and take Trump out tonight.
And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
And sadly, the domestic enemies to our voting system and our honoring our Constitution are right at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
They're not going to stop before Election Day in November, and they're not going to stop after Election Day. And that should be, everyone should take note of that on both levels, that this isn't, they're not going to let up, and they should not.
If you think we're right.
You know, that's not necessarily to get you guys riled up to show, but to show you what has really gone on with their rhetoric compared to how they try to deflect it back onto Trump. And one of the big effects we saw of such continual rhetoric around the country resulted in this terrible day that actually had a positive spin the way he handled it. Let's remind ourselves real quick.
You see something that said, take a look at what happened.
You know, a lot of that talk that's perpetrated about how violent he is, we need to go after him, we need to take them out, resulted in people getting so irritated because these people in authority positions promoted such a lie because their power was at stake. So this is a good reminder to realize the effects of the words and the news that you receive, and really the outcome that these people desire to have happen. But thankfully, we got this guy in charge who, even in this situation, handled it amazingly.
Let me get my shoes.
Let me get my shoes.
I got you, sir. Let me get my shoes, sir. Hold that in your head, bloody.
There we go.
We gotta move to the bus. Let me get my shoes.
He's like, wait.
Watch out.
Fight. Fight. So it doesn't really matter, you know? And we can take that in our lives too. Even when we deal with BS like this, different attacks, we keep fighting. We stand up. Look at that. Look how hyped everybody was. So I hope that reminds you guys of context behind Joe Biden's lock Trump up statement, really what it's based in. And let's end out with a bang of Trump's legendary lock her up statement. It's SeanDaniel here. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Let's end it.
It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail.
Secretary Clinton.